Hello guys and welcome to my review of ID Invaded. Today we'll be talking what I liked, what I didn't like, and giving it an overall rating out of 10 after the talk. If you haven't seen a review by mine, it's I guess you can't really call it a quality review. It's mainly just off the top of my head stuff. Not really formatted at all, but still like to finalize some thoughts on it. So if I didn't answer any questions or talked about something, feel free to leave a comment or whatever. So let's talk about the good first of all. I think it is important to note that if you didn't know, I reacted to the series on the channel. You can watch the timed reactions. I also watched the Blu-ray edition, which I didn't think I mentioned in the reactions for whatever reason, and it definitely it looked very good. I don't know if it's just because of the Blu-ray, probably not, but it definitely made it look really high quality, so I just keep that in mind. But yeah, what I liked about it, I think there's a lot. I think overall I did really enjoy the series. Thanks for recommending it to me. It hits all of the, well, not all of the stuff I like, but it definitely hits a lot of the stuff I like. Like, I really enjoy crime thriller stuff. The sci-fi elements, while I'm not like the biggest sci-fi guy in general, I think it mixes pretty well with crime thrillers, because they usually implement the sci-fi tech of the world into crime solving, which makes me find it very interesting. And it wasn't too sci-fi of a world, right? It was actually like pretty normal from what we've seen, like just like a secret base sort of thing. Like, I don't know if it's a thing, but you can definitely see like not exactly this, but like secret bases like that, I guess, in a society with more higher tech than at least where the general public is aware of. I feel could be a possibility, which made it kind of cool. But yeah, I think the highlight of the show was definitely the IDs, right? I don't think anyone's gonna argue that. It was very cool. I'm guessing, since I haven't really looked into it too much, I'm guessing a lot of people can easily compare it to like an Inception type thing with the IDs. I think it's a very fun idea of, in general crime thriller shows are mainly you have a killer slash criminal focused in an episode or two. You make a criminal profile of them and eventually catch them, which this technically follows the same for like half the series, but making the criminal profiles like so much more fun because you're like diving into their IDs made of their memories and intents and stuff, which is really cool. I said in the reaction that there's so much potential, right? Like, I still think that, and I mean, we know that there is a manga that continues after these events, but I feel like it's a really easy show to continue. Even you don't even need like a super big villain. You just need an interesting criminal and interesting ID, which I guess maybe that's limited, but I feel like it, like in the scope of things, it's like such a big potential to make good stuff out of that. But yeah, those were fun. I enjoyed most of them. Obviously, some were less good than others, but in general, I don't think I actively disliked the world. It was quite fun exploring them, and I think I had the most fun watching the show while they were in an ID most of the time, and including in the ID stuff, the whole great detective, and I'm not super maybe that's why I'm not the biggest fans of fantasy and sci-fi stuff, because sometimes you can get lost in the rules of the world, and I'll admit I got lost a bit sometimes, but it was pretty simple to understand how it worked eventually, right? And like when I say I like the IDs, I also like the great detective stuff. The mechanics around that were pretty cool, and yeah, it was definitely just great stuff. again, visuals, even though I did watch the Blu-ray version. Definitely if you have a plot like that, you need to have good visuals, which I think they did good on. Even though there weren't a lot of, fighting scenes, I felt like the action was like very clean at points. Even like small encounters, like in episode 5 or 4, when they go into the Mayo Gravedigger and John Walker just cuts him apart. That looked like so clean to me. Or in when I'm trying to remember, episode 9 or 10, when Sakaido goes into the ID within an ID and he fights the Challenger. I thought that fight scene looked so good. I really enjoyed that stuff. But yeah, very, very clean looking visuals. I think in terms of the villains, they did really well. I think I enjoyed most of them, and the ones I didn't enjoy, I thought I understood them enough to appreciate them, even though I didn't really care about them too much, aka the fake Gravedigger. Like, you didn't definitely understand his motive, but I don't think he's on the top of anybody's list for favorite villain. I mean, you gotta love Futada. This pyrotechnician was probably one of the ones I didn't like as much, but I liked his I liked the idea behind his character and how Akihito like unraveled him. I thought that was cool, but as a character himself, obviously, well, maybe I shouldn't say obviously, but I didn't really care about him too much. I said fake Gravedigger, I didn't really care. I love the Gravedigger pair. I love their complicated relationship dynamic. That was one I really liked. I really liked the Challenger too. I thought he was super cool. Obviously they're all evil. But I love the idea, because again, with crime thrillers, you definitely want to find or create villains with unique motives and killing styles, and I'm not the greatest expert on at least crime thriller TV shows. I'm more of a movie guy, but I love the idea of a guy who kidnaps people and just to fight with them hand to hand, the Challenger. I think I don't know, that was so cool to me. I really enjoyed his MO. And then you have the whole John Walker thing, which, the basis for it, I really enjoyed the 7-day thing. Creating serial killers to kill on each separate day was like really cool when that was revealed too. So yeah, great villains. Soundtrack I really liked. I thought the opening was really catchy. I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending, but apparently they did all the insert songs, and the majority of the insert songs I loved. Like, one of my favorite moments of the anime was in episode 4 with the fake Gravedigger, when after Sakaido kept on dying, and he had like a really cool shot where he's like, oh man, I need to figure this out, and then the explosion's just coming towards him, and then he just smiles and like, alright, I'm dead. But then the next time he just goes ham and reaches the girl with the sound playing in the background. Was such a good scene to me. It's one of my favorites, to be honest. Then obviously you have like the very sad one from the ID Inception. That was a really good scene with a music insert. Like, lots of goodness in that, right? So yeah, I think overall a good soundtrack. Anything else I need for the goods? The goods. I was fine with the story format. I thought it was pretty standard in terms of episodic, with a main overarching villain into focusing on the villain in the latter half. I think that's a very popular way to do it. So no complaints there. I guess I'll just move on to what I didn't like. But yeah, unless I think of something else on the way. So for what I didn't like, I'm not really a nitpicky person. Like, if there's any logical stuff, then like I don't sweat the small stuff. Basically, I'm just more of some of the overall stuff. I guess one of like this is like totally a me thing, but like I said before, some of the terminology, or sometimes I got confused, and I usually don't like getting confused, so I guess that's technically a negative, though it's not really strong at all. I think probably the biggest critique I guess I had with it, and if you watch the reaction, you would know, is the development of the side characters. Like I guess I should have talked about the characters, the main cast and the good. We'll get to that. We'll combine these two, but I thought besides Akihito, Fukuda, Momaki, like the main ones, and the villains, obviously, because you need to develop the villains, I thought the actual cast that operated the Mizohane were pretty bland, pretty forgettable. Like I'm not good at names, but I usually do pick them up eventually. I still, to this day, do not know like 3 of the guys. I only know Kokofu because I was memeing about him because he seems so useless. But I do not know the 3 other guys. Not that they're bad characters. I mean, I liked them. They just have 0 development, not a lot of showtime that sort of shows their personalities at all. So it's really just hard to distinguish them besides how they looked. So I was like calling the guy with the ponytail, the guy with the Santa hair, Santa. It could be on me, but I just thought like there's literally nothing. I think that's not a hot take, right? There's no real development. And I'm not asking for a lot. Just like, you know, just put a minute to just a minute of them each showing some sort of more than just working, more than that. More than what was shown, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really get excited too much about the outside cast or cared about them. But on characters, I really enjoyed the main cast. I thought Fukudo, from villain to main cast, was a very interesting character. He kind of had the best of both worlds because they focus on the villains as they should in a crime thriller, and then the main character treatment, he got additional stuff. He was a very fun guy. Same with Hondamachi. I guess she was technically my least favorite of the 3, but she was still a good character. Akihito obviously got the most development, most emotional baggage, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean they're good characters, dude. I think from the side characters, Momaki, Matsuoka stood out to me, even though Matsuoka definitely got less development than Momaki. But I still liked him. He's just kind of the character archetype I liked. Sort of the old, rugged-looking cop that is willing to break the rules for his partners or whatever. I mean, I remember Todo too, but she's just kind of easy to remember. I don't know why, even though I didn't really find her overly interesting. But moving on to what I didn't like, I guess we can move on to the second major factor, which was some John Walker stuff. And I think that's mainly just it's also sort of resulting in the fact about not developing the side cast. So for John Walker, I like him. I liked his motive. I liked the 7-day thing. I liked his god complex. I liked how he thought he was better than he was, I guess. I didn't really care too much about the reveal though, and this is definitely debatable. But I just thought it wasn't really effective, and you can say it wasn't really meant to be a mystery, you know. But they kind of, like, at least in my opinion, when they had that whole meeting, and they're like, "Oh, John Walker could be one of us," you know. And to me, it felt like a cue that they were gonna investigate them deeper, investigate the people they're working with. But they just never did that. There wasn't any red herrings, and with the lack of development of the cast, the side cast, there's only really one person you can suspect. Chief, whatever, director, man. I think I mean I can't tell for anyone because I haven't seen other people's reactions or whatever, but I imagine it's a pretty easy guess just because there's not really a huge list. And then you can say, yeah, well, in shows you don't necessarily need to make a mystery, but like I said, I thought that they at least gave the vibe that they would make it a mystery. So that's what, if they didn't give that vibe, I would have been fine with it if they just showed him. like in slow parts. But yeah, wasn't too hyped about when they showed him. I don't know. I just thought it wasn't really satisfying. Also, his ending was a little flat. Though after marinating on the scene, I'm kind of happy with him. They kind of just deny him and then then just lock him up, and then it's kind of badass, honestly. They just like shut down his ideology, get him confused, and then he's just stuck in that alternative world forever. So it's kind of badass. But it was, I wouldn't be mad if someone told me that was flat. It did feel very sudden. But I did like his motivations and stuff. Just felt kind of awkward. Because again, there wasn't really anyone else to suspect in the series. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for my complaints. Just confused about some of the terminology and stuff. And to be fair, they didn't explain everything completely about the Mizuhane and stuff. I thought we would get more on Kiki and how the Mizuhane actually works with her as a tour, but I'm not too mad about that. It's more just and I'm not even mad about it. It's just, and I'm sure it was on purpose that they didn't develop the side characters as strongly, obviously. But yeah, I didn't exactly like that as a choice. But yeah, I think that's all I have to really say about this. So from a rating 1 to 10, I would like to preface that my ratings actually are like sorry, are pretty static. So like 5 is okay. It's right in the middle, and then obviously up to 10 is good, or is the positive, and below is the negative. And just preferencing that, because when I talk to people a lot, like their average movie is a 7 for some reason. They're like, oh yeah, if a movie ends up in a theater, it has to be at least a 7 or something. Or like, I don't know, I just see people rating stuff like 7s when they're average, but my average is a 5, so not to so anything like a 6, even though it sounds low, it means it's good. It means I really enjoyed it. So yeah, which doesn't matter because I'm giving this a 7 out of 10, which means it was great. But I just know people who I don't want to say overrate. It's just their scaling is different than mine. When I'm like, I take my numbers exactly how it seems, 7 out of 10. It means it was a great anime. I enjoyed it. Probably has a lot of rewatchability. And yeah, I would definitely be down to watch a second season of it. I'll probably save the Blu-ray somewhere because it looked pretty crisp. But yeah, 7 out of 10 I think is pretty good. I really enjoyed myself watching it. I was never really bored watching it either, and I really enjoyed the concept and at least the main cast of characters. But yeah, that's it. That's my opinion. If you want to share yours, feel free. And if you're interested in other anime reviews, well, too bad because there's not any yet. But if you're watching this recently, but eventually there will be more. And if you're interested in anime reactions, there should be more coming up too, eventually. So yeah, thanks for watching this review. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you again. Bye.